This is the end of the beginning. Welcome to today's show. The Pope, the same Pope who wants to merge all religions as one, the same Pope who doesn't follow the actual teachings of the Bible. Yeah, the Pope is at it again, welcoming people to the Vatican, which shouldn't surprise any of us who are awake because we all know how high-ranking the Vatican is in the New World Order structure, as well as that other place that loves bagels. But the Pope has decided to welcome artists from all around the world to the Vatican. And of course, why wouldn't the Pope invite an artist who made a painting and is famous for a painting or a picture that depicts Jesus inside of urine? That's right, Jesus inside of urine. It reminds me of a certain book that talks about our King of Kings being in hell and burning in a certain fecal matter. That's what this book claims. But if you actually talk about this book in some countries, you could be thrown in jail. And here on YouTube, you'll be thrown off. So I can't go into deep detail about that. But it's a certain book that a certain tribe likes to read. And inside that book, it talks about all sorts of things in regards to Jesus, mocking, spitting on him, defecating on him. And of course, the Pope would welcome someone like this because you might remember a few weeks ago, well, maybe you don't because it was scrubbed off the internet, but a few weeks ago I covered our our hero Vladimir Zelensky visited the Pope as well. And what did he bring the Pope? Well, he brought him a picture of the Virgin Mary holding what would be in the picture, or supposed to be, where Jesus would be, you would assume, the baby Jesus. But of course, it's blacked out. There's a veil over it because it's referencing the Antichrist, of course. So why would we be surprised that the Pope a month later is having artists show up at the Vatican? And there are people there who, well, I'll get into deep detail about this guy who did the painting, who goes by the name of Andres Serrano, and not to be confused with Pedro Serrano from the movie Major League, but Andres Serrano likely playing for the team in San Francisco, if you catch my drift from looking at the pictures of him. But here's Andres Serrano and his picture depicting, of course, Jesus in urine. This stuff's allowed. This is art, remember? So as the Vatican hosts all these people, Pope Francis addressed approximately 200 prominent artists. These people who make things like that and they call it art. And then people buy the paintings of Jesus in urine for $5 million, and then people just think that's a normal transaction, but the money's really laundered, of course, because, like I said years ago, now people have finally caught on, and that's another one of the reasons I've been banned all over the place. I mean, I'm a new YouTuber. Art is one of the largest laundering fronts for trafficking. Excuse me, Gesundheit. Yeah, trafficking, right? You see, you need a way to be able to launder the money, to be able to use things as a front. So this whole illusion that these people make these garbage paintings where it looks like somebody took a bucket of paint and threw it on the wall and then they sell it for millions of dollars. Then other people out there try to become famous artists with their paints and they don't become famous. And they're like, why can't I become famous? Well, it's not because you're not talented. It's because you're not one of them. Because if it was really about drawing talent and things like that, I mean, you probably, people with talent would sell paintings for a lot of money. But when we see all the famous artwork out there, it's all crap. You know what I mean? With the exception maybe of Monet, I mean, the majority of it looks like garbage. But they tell you that it's worth this, and it's worth that, and it's worth whatever it is in the eye of the beholder. Because that's whatever the beholder is willing to pay for the the painting. So, of course, Pope Francis would bring in a guy who did that. Now, not only has this guy, before I tell you the story here about Pope Francis and Andres Serrano has some other paintings and pictures and portraits that he sold and is famous for. And here's one of them. It's called El Gran Cabron. El Gran Cabron from 2011. Does this look like anything you would think? Oh, Baphomet, right? Is that the Baphomet with, it's the Baphomet's profile, right? He decided to darken the face for the artistic, make it more artistic. But even this will tell us, the description of it will tell you a little bit about it. There's nothing satanic here. And of course, the Pope, who's supposed to be the religious figure of the world that's closest to whatever they claim the Pope is, right? The Pope he has messages from God, and he's like the person we should all go to and pray to there's people that pray to the Pope. I mean, it's pure insanity. The Pope, of course, is one of the higher ups here at the building and construction of this satanic New World Order, but obviously a lot of Catholics out there have been bamboozled into believing that this guy is a holy man. But as he welcomes in Andres Serrano's painting here, El Gran Carbon, however, is the portrayal of the devil as manlike. and it reveals some of the most intriguing ideas about what the devil has historically represented. Paparoni suggests more humanistic portrayals hint at the biblical shared destiny of Lucifer and mankind. He alludes to the influence of Milton's epic poem, Paradise Lost, when writing of Franz von Struck's 1891 painting Lucifer, whose pensive, muscular, titular figure is differentiated only by his unearthly bright eyes and shadowy wings. Very well stated by this blogger, this whatever this person is who's writing this article, trying to make this sound like art when he's saying muscular, titular, which pretty much means a goat with breasts and a penis. Let's be realistic here. I mean, if you want to use all fancy words here to sound like you're high class, high society, shipping champagne and caviar, but let's just talk like regular human beings and call it what it is. It's a ghost with breasts and a penis, and these people worship it. And they roll it around, Satanic Temple rolls it around, and then they tell everyone they don't believe in the devil. And we're all supposed to believe it. So you can obviously see that this is the Baphomet. He's got the Jesus and the urine, which, of course, if somebody did that depicting, Vladimir, maybe Zelensky, you'd probably be thrown in jail, maybe even executed in public square, whatever they call it. So as we continue on here, one more thing about Andreas, which I found pretty interesting before we get into the story here with the Pope. Andreas also has an article in Vanity Fair, which is current from 2022, that talks about how he bought the Madonna, that's right, the Madonna, a 16th century Madonna statue, from a financier. And who was that financier? Oh, it was the guy by the name of Jeffrey Steen. Yeah, go figure that he purchased it. So what a small world, right? He knows Jeff knows him. They're all involved in art. Nobody's looking at the Ep guy as far as, what was he doing with all of this type of art? Oh, he was just collecting it, kind of like Podesta was just collecting it, right? You see where this is all going? So then he's at the Vatican with the Pope, rubbing shoulders. The Pope doesn't care that he had a picture of Jesus. They painted one and sold photos of it, Jesus in urine. He's not offended by it. I mean, I'm offended by it. Okay, and if this guy ever tried to come to my home, he wouldn't be allowed near it. He'd be lucky. Well, I can't say what I would do because, of course, I got to be really careful about what I say. I'm a very controversial figure, apparently, even though I'm brand new to YouTube. So, a lot of coincidences here, right? With the Jesus picture, with the Baphomet. I mean, the silhouette of a goat. And, of course, the connection to Mr. Ep. So, let's look at the story here. Pope Francis addressed 200 prominent artists. Among the participants was the U.S. photographer Andre Serrano, creator of the controversial 1987 I really hate to even say it, but Piss Christ image, a photograph of a plastic crucifix submerged in urine. And this is the Pope who's supposed to love and he tells us all about Christ's message, supposedly, of love, right, and tolerance and acceptance of everything, right? And then he's okay with this. The meeting with Pope Francis in the Sistine Chapel was organized by the Vatican's Culture and Education to mark the 50th anniversary of the inauguration of the modern and contemporary art collection in the Vatican museums. Other guests included contemporary painters, sculptors, architects, photographers, writers, poets, playwrights, musicians, actors, and directors. Wow, no surprise. I wonder what actors were there, right? Was James Gunn there? Is that his name? I mean, I'm sure that Marina Abramovich was probably there, right? And I'm sure a lot of these guys played for the other team, if you catch my drift. They love Hershey's. They love Hershey's. Not Hershey Kisses, the highway. The Pope said the church has a great friendship with the arts, which can bring much needed hope to the world through beauty, harmony, and truth. Oh, okay. Yes, hope. I look at a painting and it brings me hope. What could be going through tell somebody that 100 years ago and people were literally every day getting up, trying to provide so they could have food to eat, doing whatever labor they had to do. Oh, I'm finding hope in this painting. Look at this painting. It brings hope into my soul. It's trees out in the woods. Why don't you just go outside and look at the trees? How's that for a thought? Yeah? Oh, the painting brings hope, right? Of course it does, Pope. Brings more than hope. Brings a lot of kitties. Often as an artist, you attempt to plumb the depths of the human condition, its dark abysses. We are not all light, and you remind us of this, the Pope said this week. So, the Pope's, can I reread that? Often as artists, you attempt to plumb the depths of the human condition, its dark abysses. We are not all light. Well, ain't that the truth, Pope? Well said. Speaking from the soul. Did that come out of the Pope's own diary? Right? Because he's not the light. But they do believe, the occult, of course, that Lucifer is the light of the world, and the morning star, but that's another, that's a separate topic. He says at the same time, there's a need to let the light of hope shine in that darkness in the midst of our selfishness and indifference. Help us to glimpse the light, the beauty that saves. There were 9 creatives in the United States, including Abel Ferrara, who directed the recent Padre Pio film starring Shia LaBeouf. There's your connection to the CIA and Disney, of course. In his speech, Pope Francis said art and faith are alike. I mean, I'm laughing because it's just unbelievable, this stuff, that they're just openly doing this. And they can openly admit to this stuff. And so people are just like, what's the big deal? It's not a big deal. The guy did a painting of Jesus in urine. Oh, okay. Because sooner or later, they're just going to reveal what's in this certain book that you're not supposed to know about, which I do talk about on the website, right? The certain book that a certain tribe likes to read every single week in their building that they attend. Very interesting that they don't let you know what's in there. But I'm sure now that they're getting away with so much of stuff in public, they're just going to openly say that. And people are going to be like, well, they have the freedom to believe that. Oh, right. But we don't have the freedom to say anything about anyone, especially, certain group of people who, well, this specific one that I'm talking about, you can't say anything about them. Oh, you can't even blink in their direction or it's a hate crime. So anyway, oh, it's unbelievable, isn't it? The Pope said art and faith are alike. Are they? That makes absolutely no sense, but okay. They are alike in that they can both be troubling. No, they're not. What is he talking about? How is your faith troubling? I mean, if you have true, legitimate faith, it's not troubling. But he goes on to say, neither art nor faith can leave things simply as they are. They change, transform, move, and convert them. Art can never serve as an anesthetic. It brings peace, yet far from deadening consciousnesses. It keeps them alert. Okay. As Simon Weil wrote, beauty seduces the flesh in order to gain entrance to the soul. That sums up what's going on in the world, right? A lot of seduction, a lot of things, a lot of people in high places going after people's flesh, literally. Look up in the sky. Art touches the senses in order to enliven the spirit, and it does so through beauty, which reflects things that are good, just, and true. I love when they just give sentences like this. Nobody even knows what they're saying. But then you'll hear zombies out there regurgitate this stuff like it is what it is and all these types of sayings, right? Art touches the senses in order to enliven the spirit, and it does so through beauty, which reflects things that are good, just, and true. What does that mean? Right? But people, they think that they're smart enough. They're like, well, he just can't interpret. It just means bull crap. It's just bull crap sayings that they throw out there that sound all nice and cookie cut. Oh, right. You know what art really touches? It touches kids. Oops, sorry. Big secret's out. People should realize that now, but they don't. Because this society is under such deep mind control. They actually think that these rich people, when they go to these art galleries, are actually buying and selling paintings for $5 million because it just touches their spirit so much. Unbelievable. And the Pope, of course, Mr. One World Religion himself, who wants to merge all the gods together, who clearly doesn't believe that Jesus Christ is the King of Kings, that's for sure. He's getting gifts from Zelensky of Mary with the Antichrist, with the Jesus blurred out and blackened, putting a veil over. I mean, it's really unbelievable at this point. I mean, is it not? He's openly telling Christians what they need to do as far as accepting certain people. He's telling Christians, I mean, it's really unbelievable. But this is how you lukewarm Christianity. Just look at the Pope, look no further, right? And a lot of people take their orders from the Pope, and they're like, who should listen to a man on earth, right? They believe they should just listen to a man and go to him and confess their sins instead of confessing him to God. But hey, this is the world in 2023 where we have the Pope. The Pope is meeting with people who are making pictures of the bath, who are meeting with Jeffrey Epps, buying pictures. His last known thing is Madonna statue, probably for billions, which means what they're trying to say in that Vanity Fair article is that the last sale that Jeffrey had before he got shipped off into another island, because that's really where he is. If people actually think he's gone, they're crazy. They just given him, he's doing it elsewhere now, probably got some plastic surgery, etc. He's probably not gone, because none of these people ever go. But the last one publicly that he sold, the last statue, wink, wink. You see how this works? You see how they're talking about Epstein selling statues and paintings and things like that, but then he's arrested and found that he's really, what he was doing all this other stuff. So you see what the front is, how they get the transaction of the sale. So what do you think this guy really bought? You think he really bought the Madonna? Or did he buy a child named Madonna? Probably Madonna's child. Go figure, right? Hopefully this video doesn't get a strike, but in the event that it does, which is highly likely, please subscribe to my backup channel below, because every channel I make even though I'm brand new to this. I've just started. Everyone I make, there's always a chance that I'm going to be gone really quick. And it seems to be pretty accurate. I'm not just saying that. Proof's in the pudding, right, as they say? So please pause the video or just stop watching it here. Click the link below. Click subscribe. And I thank you for doing that. And I thank all of you for being here. Obviously, I'm going to continue to bleed subs, but that's the price you pay for telling the truth in 2023. Thanks again, everybody. God bless all of you, as always, and your families.